Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents A Mystical Practical Guide to Magic, Instructions for Seekers, Witches, and Other Spiritual Misfits, by Aliza Einhorn, narrated by Camille Mazant. Introduction. Most of us, at least, have some notion of what the word spiritual or the phrase spiritual path means, but have you ever stopped to define it for yourself, to make it more clear, to know what the hell it means to you? Your definition of spiritual doesn't have to include words like enlightenment or consciousness. Mine usually doesn't. A spiritual path isn't necessarily the big fat truth of life for all beings everywhere for all time. It's more personal than that. It's the big or little truth for you, for your own magnificent, meaningful life. We're all doing it, seeking, searching, wandering, wondering, flying, driving through our own personal heartland, whether you use those words or not. If you're alive, if you're listening to this book, you're heading somewhere, even if that somewhere feels like around and around in circles. This book is here to help you through it. It's a practical and sometimes personal guide to some of the things that have helped me craft my own spiritual life over the decades, and how to work with those things in daily life. I didn't set out to create anything, though. It happened naturally, intuitively. My feelings led the way. What does a spiritual path include? Fries optional. A spiritual path, no matter how informal, will likely have tools and strategies, signs and clues, mysteries, rituals, beliefs, sometimes rules, things we do once, things we do over and over, all to help us understand better who we are, where we are, why we are, who we're meant to be, our life purpose, and even what happens after we die, if anything. And then there's the day-to-day business of living. That's spiritual too. All the clues, tools, and strategies in this book can help you explore all of the above, bring you new questions, and make you think. They are tools to help us probe the mystery of our lives, where we're going and how to get there, alternate routes included. We may not get all the answers in the time frame we desire right now, but I've got travel instructions for you, stories and rituals for the road. I'll be using this metaphor every so often. The road, the map, landmarks, detours, everything we need for the journey. We start in Tarot Town, but then we keep on going. And since I just moved back to New York City as I started writing this book, the city too will guide us. Its subways and streets, cafes and seasons. We are never not somewhere along the way. The streets speak. Also, a spiritual path of any kind, like this book, is here to comfort you in your distress or crisis, your dark night of the soul. The way I see it, your spiritual path or journey, your exodus, your metaphysical restlessness, is the poetry of your life, noticing the details all around you while asking the big questions. Your collection of cool stuff. Right before I started writing, I hit on a phrase to summarize what the spiritual path is for me, a collection of cool stuff. It's my way to describe the strange and not so strange things I was drawn to over the years, the things that stuck around. I chose them or they chose me. I'm pretty sure you have a collection of cool stuff too, your influences and inspirations. Maybe you don't think of them that way. Maybe it's just who you are, but I bet those things and ideas that you fell in love with made you feel connected to something larger than your own small shadow in this big world. Perhaps their presence grew dim at times, but you didn't forget, and they were company through the long hours, like good friends. Everything in this book is a friend. Your collection of cool stuff might be in a shoebox under your bed, or on a bookshelf, or in your head in the form of a to-do list. Maybe your collection has been buried so long you don't even know what's in there anymore because your family or friends or partner or culture wouldn't understand. None of the things I mention here, astrology, tarot, talking to the dead, to name just 3, belong to any particular faith or religion or tradition. They belong to us all. My hope is that this book will inspire you to dig into your own personal collection, excavate it, no matter how ancient it is, no matter how seemingly forgotten, and that you head out on your own spiritual road trip to the great wide open and beyond, like the Fool card in the tarot, who is always starting over. A Jewish Witch. In 2014, I started announcing on my blog, Moon Pluto Astrology, that I was a witch. I was already an astrologer and tarot reader and doing both for a living. This was a few years before witches got trendy and showed up on social media, not just in the metaphysical section of the bookstore. Witch is an old and complicated word, but it was new and perfect for me. I felt it described what I'd already been doing for years, writing spells, doing magic, healing others, entering trance states, flying on a broomstick. No, not really. And I wasn't just any witch, but a Jewish witch, the tradition of my upbringing and ancestry of this lifetime. It wasn't strange to me to combine them. I felt like I was remembering what I'd known all along. Jewish witch? Of course. Hebrew incantations? You bet. Why am I telling you this story? What you call yourself, or how you identify, is also part of your collection of cool stuff. You get to choose. Little maps. Any of the following things and ideas can be part of your spiritual path and/or help you figure out that path. At the end of each section, you'll find recommended resources, mostly books, but sometimes not. Tarot. Tarot is the art of prediction and will also help you grasp past, present, and future, and talk to you about who you are and where you need to be. One difference between astrology and tarot is that tarot is a physical deck of 78 cards with pictures on them. Tarot is tactile. You hold it in your hands, although both astrology and tarot are psychic tools. We read the cards as we read the charts, seeking information, guidance, truth. Astrology. Astrology is the art of understanding and is, without question, the best metaphysical means for understanding yourself, other people, and your life's purpose. Astrology can help you make sense of the past, survive the present, and predict the future. Sounds good, right? Your birth chart, or natal chart, as it's often called, cast for the moment you were born, is a map of you, a mirror. Even a little astro learning goes a long way. Magic. Magic is the art of doing. There are so many kinds of magic and magical traditions, but here's one thing I know for sure. Magic is an antidote to feeling powerless. Another thing I know, magic requires action. Third thing, magic is real. Examples of real magic. A money spell, when money is needed. A love spell, when love is needed. And if you don't need love or money, there's plenty of other magic out there. The invisible world. The invisible world is the art of seeing, but not necessarily with the eyes. Even before my parents died, I always felt connected to the invisible. By invisible, I mean anything, anyone that doesn't have a physical body the way we do. This could include dead relatives, maybe ancestors, maybe angels, ghosts, pets who left us too soon. I like the popular phrase, spirit guide, as a general term to describe the invisibles. This invisible world, like magic, is as real as you and I. Ritual. Ritual is the art of routine, which is the art of daily life. It may seem like a dull idea on the surface, but a spiritual path goes hand in hand with a plan. What items, if any, do you need for your spell? How often should you meditate this week? Will you draw a tarot card each day or every other day? All of this is structure, and these structures create continuity in our lives. Routines are like leashes around our souls. Feel free to roam, but come back. Writing. Writing is the art of expression. When you write, you find out how you feel, what you think, what you can't forget, where your mind goes. Writing is a way to keep track, keep a record, go back in time. It's like meditation, but across a page. With writing, you can beautify your experience and make sense of it too. I used to say that I didn't know how I felt about anything until I wrote it down. Moon Pluto Magic. Moon Pluto Magic is the art of self-acceptance and is my own homemade magical system for the ones who feel too much and get labeled too sensitive. They need intense creative outlets that match their emotional intensity. This magic is for the artists, empaths, intuitives, introverts, and anyone who relates to it. Moon Pluto Magic is about you loving you, including the parts that others, or even yourself, have deemed ugly, unnecessary, or worthless. It's healing magic. The Magic Cafe. I was in a coffee shop today, working on the paragraph you're hearing right now, and thinking how to sum up this introduction and prepare you for what we're going to be talking about. I had more than one coffee shop to choose from this morning, and I take such decisions, and coffee, seriously. After all, it would be an hour or two of my day, a day that could change everything. You never know when magic is on the menu. That was the name of the place I was at, by the way, the Magic Cafe. And I sat down to tell you this. Everything I bring you here is an offering to help you create your own spiritual, magical life. Maybe tarot and astrology and coffee shops and witches are for you, and maybe they're not. But it's your destiny to discover who you are spiritually and what you believe, and to create your life and tell the whole wide world about it, if you choose. Maybe you will write your own book and teach us a thing or two about how best to live each day, spiritually, magically, from the heart, your heart. Much love, Aliza. September, Elul, 2019. Welcome to Tarot Town. There's this Hollywood image that I love. The kerchiefed fortune teller sitting before her crystal ball at a carnival or beachfront boardwalk. She's got a mysterious faraway accent and rings on every finger. Her voice is ancient. On her table appear to be tarot cards, which she caresses as she tells you news of your life, your future. My life as a tarot reader is a bit less cinematic. I work from home usually, doing my tarot readings in the kitchen, in everyday clothes, my cat vying for napping space on the table. Drawing cards, some say pulling, some say throwing, is normal around here, part of daily life, and yet no less magical. Double espresso, please. I'm at my favorite coffee shop, the Magic Cafe, thinking about how best to introduce you to something I love so much, the tarot, without being too esoteric and without dumbing it down. And the truth is, I think it's best if we just jump in. My mantra, I don't know how the tarot works exactly, I just know that it does. In other words, I'm not a scientist who can quantify why a reasonably intuitive person, like you or me, can know what will happen or when. And yet I've done this for others and had done it for me time and time again. It's always remarkable, but not entirely unusual. Here is an excerpt from a conversation I am currently having with myself about how to acquaint you with the tarot. What is the work or purpose of the tarot? To answer the questions we ask, to answer the questions we don't. What kinds of questions should we ask? Whatever we want. If you want tarot to be part of your spiritual path, your quest, your adventure, your collection of cool stuff, if you want to engage with the tarot to figure out whether it should join your life, know this. Tarot is a tool for divination, predicting the future / fortune telling, but can also bring you insight about your life. It all depends on what you ask and how you ask your questions. Tarot is a window, an entrance, a gateway, something we can look through to get the information and answers we seek. But I don't have any questions, said no one, ever. You create your own storm. During one of the first tarot classes I ever taught, a student asked about sleeping with the deck under her pillow so that the luminous mysteries of the tarot would find their way into her head while she slept. I liked that she assumed or knew that there was something special about this pretty deck of cards. Now, what I'm about to tell you is a theme that will travel through each section of this book. What brings you epiphanies and powers and intuition and gifts blossoming is practice. Might that practice include sleeping with the deck under your pillow? You can give it a try. But lightning tends to strike in a storm, and with any spiritual quest or path, you create your own storm. In other words, you have to do the work. I'm not saying that the cards won't whisper to you their secrets, and such stories do become legend, as they should, but what I'm telling you here is mystical and practical. If you want to know tarot, you have to get to know tarot and let tarot get to know you. Make it part of your everyday life. Detour, a very, very short history of the cards. In that same tarot class, we talked about the supposedly enigmatic origins of the deck, including one theory that it was brought to Earth by aliens. I hope it's true. But also what appears to be the facts. Its appearance in Italy in the mid-1400s and as an actual card game developed for Italian royalty. Some tarot scholars pinpoint the 1700s. These are big swaths of time, I know, for when tarot transitioned from mere game to oracle cartomancy. But no matter the creation story, and details vary depending on whose book you're reading, tarot cards over the generations became a device for telling fortunes, and eventually that beachfront boardwalk lady was throwing cards to let you know if and when a tall, dark stranger was on his way to you with an offer of true love. The least you need to know. First and foremost, the tarot is a deck of cards. It is a thing, an object, and you do things to it, like touch, shuffle, cut, arrange, lay out, throw across the room when annoyed. You can hold the deck in your hands, spill coffee on it, get it dirty, keep it clean. You can enfold tarot decks in your clothes as you pack your suitcase for the Arctic. It's a thing. Second, tarot is a process, a system for seeking and finding information about anything. Should I meet a friend tonight? What do the cards say? What is my life purpose? What do the cards say? I mean it when I say you can ask the cards anything. Some don't ask of the tarot. They demand. I have done such in times of great drama or stress. Tarot, tell me what I need to know or else. Do the cards laugh at our obsessions? Sometimes. But don't be afraid to pour your passion out. The two of you and the deck, are in a relationship. Third, tarot is a pictorial system. These cards aren't blank. They have images on them and numbers too. The images and numbers have meanings. They even have suits like playing cards. Tarot's precursor. Focusing on these pictures, along with your questions, allows your conscious mind to relax so you can find the answers you seek. It's that gateway or entrance I mentioned earlier. The cards help you get out of your way. The cards help you see. Also, through working with the tarot, you may, with practice, refine your intuition to the point that you won't even need cards. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. There are as many tarot questions as stars in the sky. Reading tarot cards for self-reflection or insight is not the same as the yes or no type of question. Instead, we are looking to explore a situation or ourselves profoundly, as fully as we can. Every tarot reading is a journey. We want to get somewhere. We want to feel satisfied, satiated. Where a yes or no question can feel like a peck on the cheek, a question seeking insight is like a long, slow kiss. That said, I find the best and most fun tarot readings have elements of both. It really depends on what you want at any given time. I've also seen wily folks try to trick the cards. They have a yes-no question in mind, will I get the job? But ask it in a roundabout way in an attempt to outsmart the cards. They think being indirect will win them a better answer. Honey, I've seen it all. A typical yes-no question. Is that cute person whom I gave my phone number going to text me? A question seeking insight. Am I ready for love? The first one appears quick and easy. The second one clearly is not. Which do you prefer? Why choose tarot for your spiritual path? Of course, I'm biased, but tarot is so good at what it's supposed to do, so good at bringing clarity and confusion. I think everyone should try to work with the cards, at least for a little while. See if you like it. Do you like interesting pictures with layers of symbolism? Do you want to bolster your intuition? Do you want a portable question-answer system that is sometimes maddening? Do you want a fortune-telling oracle with a curious history? Tarot is for you. You can return to the tarot over and over, although it's not a religion. There are conventions or customs, sure, but not laws. It can help you figure out who you are, where you are, what you want, how to get there, what to do. There's lots of what to do type questions in my own damn life, all through this question-answer process. Next stop. The secret to reading tarot cards revealed. How to read tarot cards in 900 words or less. So you want to read tarot cards and you want to read them fast and easy. These days, nobody's got time to waste. I can tell you how to do it in 900 words or less. In fact, I can tell you in one word. You ready? That one word is practice. You may remember we met this word in the previous chapter. What is practice? Something you do over and over. Something you do with persistence and consistency. That's it. But is that all there is to reading tarot cards? Of course not. But it's one of the most important tarot lessons of all. Every picture tells a story. It's not even fall yet, and I have a window open. The first open window of the season. It's still August in the city, in Brooklyn, and this morning, after a 6-mile walk from my neighborhood to the next, I get a call from my sister, happy about tarot. She just bought her first deck and is excitedly telling me how you don't have to memorize anything to read the cards. You don't have to buy a single book of simple or complex card interpretations, i.e., what the cards supposedly mean. You can just look at the pictures. Pictures tell a story. I tell her about an artist friend I used to have, a fellow tarot lover, who is a far more visual reader than I'll ever be. She sees fine detail, sees color, sees line. I tell my sister, still glowing in her newfound tarot love, that there are infinite ways to read the cards. Pulling apart the picture is one way. Just make a habit of it, every day if you can. Little black birds like swords in the sky. In the tarot, there are 4 suits, like a regular deck of playing cards. But here we have wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. Each suit is associated with an element, and most of my decks are arranged this way. Wands, fire; cups, water; swords, air; and pentacles, earth. A couple years ago, I was putting together a tarot class and noticed these little black birds showing up from card to card in the sword suit in the famous Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Have you seen it? This deck has inspired tarot lovers all over the world for decades, and when I talk about a particular tarot card in this book, I'm referring to this deck. If I hadn't been teaching that class and gazing at each card, though, I never would have noticed those pretty birds. I tend to see the bare minimum of any image. My intuition quickly takes over. Is it possible that the eyes absorb more than we realize? Maybe. But the journey from eyes to brain to intuition is lightning fast. It's like I know what the card means, what the card is saying, even before I see it, or mere seconds later. But we'll talk more about intuition in the next chapter of this section. For the love of Rachel Pollack. It's totally legit to be bookish about the cards, too, to decide that you want to read them and interpret them the way your favorite tarot author does. There's no shame in learning from the greats, like Rachel Pollack and Mary K. Greer, to name two. There's no shame in memorizing their card meanings, what they say in their books, and never straying. Maybe you like the idea of a lineage. Real-life tarot schools exist, but tarot isn't a monolith, and it's not like we get initiated into tarot. I mean, our favorite authors and experts are the closest we've got to gurus, if a guru is what you seek. With all the tarot books I have, and that number is many, but not too many to count, I admit that I mostly skip everything in a book, exercises, history, the author's philosophy of tarot, and head straight to the card meaning section, if there is one. Once in a while, I remember what I read. Most of the time, though, I forget until I pick up a book again. Fast, easy, and neat. These categories aren't always so neat, but some of us do have a primary method of reading the cards. Visually, like my artist friend, or book-oriented, or more by gut feeling, with the cards commencing intuitive hops. We may read different ways at different times, or use a combination of techniques, but we're always taking the cards and running with them somewhere into the field of the unknown, where the answers are. After all, that's what the tarot is for, to help us find answers. Which method is best for you? To answer this question, please return to the first point of this chapter. Practice. Practice and find out. You won't know how to work with the cards, how you work with the cards, how you want to work with the cards, until you do. Can you learn how to read the cards quickly? Some folks want to know the secrets of the universe in an hour. Others don't mind 30 years. Learning tarot falls somewhere in between. Regarding easy, it's easy if you enjoy it. If tarot gives you pleasure, as it did me, it's the easiest thing in the world. I have a question for you. I'm back at the Magic Cafe as I write to you. It's still August, the air's still sweet with the promise of leafy fall weather, and I'm thinking about where to take you next. Uptown, downtown? Here are 2 questions. Are you psychic? Do you want to be? Next stop, find a friend. Tarot will make you psychic. The next thing to do in Tarot Town is make a friend, a tarot friend. How it works. You ask the cards a question. They ask the cards a question. You pull cards for them. They pull cards for you. Simple. I was almost going to qualify it. I was almost going to say, you can hit the tarot jackpot on your own without ever reading cards for others. But the truth is you can't, not in the way I'm talking about here. Homework. Finding a tarot friend. You want to make sure your tarot friend is intelligent, trustworthy, and open-minded. Intelligent because you are too, and tarot isn't just mystical fun.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?